Things are picking up very fast for the Detroit Red Wings as the #1 trade target has been revealed, and multiple insiders are revealing that there is a bidding war across the league starting for this player, and the Detroit Red Wings and Steve Yzerman have emerged as one of the front runners for Robert Thomas. We're going to break it all down and more in this episode of Red Wings Digest. But before we get into all of that, a quick reminder to hit that subscribe button. We've noticed that about 95% of you who watch these videos are not subscribed to the channel. So if you want to stay up to date with everything that's happening with the Red Wings, go down below, hit that free subscribe button, hit that free follow button on Facebook. We see all you guys on Facebook as well. Thank you for the support. As always, the support and the growth of the channel has been unbelievable. And if you want to stay up to date with everything that's happening with the Red Wings, from trade rumors and reports to post-game reactions to injury reports, whatever it is, make sure to hit that subscribe button. But Mark, let's get right into it. Obviously, some big news today that, things are picking up very quickly around the league. And we know that the Red Wings are interested in Robert Thomas. We've done a video on it already before, but now things are progressing quicker around the league. And we know that it's a buyer's market according to multiple insiders, which is great for the Red Wings. But we know that the St. Louis Blues and Doug Armstrong are not going to give up on Robert Thomas for nothing. They want a king's ransom in return. We'll get into the specifics of that in a little bit, so stay tuned for that. But now the Buffalo Sabres have emerged as one of the front runners for Robert Thomas as well. And this is interesting because there's a lot of things that go into this, because the Red Wings are looking for obviously a second line center, or just a center in general, to bolster that, the middle position and lengthen the lineup heading into the playoffs. But if the Buffalo Sabres end up getting a guy like this, and you're heading into a scenario where you could possibly play them in the playoffs, or just, heading into the future, this could be a huge miss. And I do wonder if this is a scenario where all of a sudden there is a bidding war that started, and Steve Yzerman needs to find himself at as the winner of that war.
And I think the big thing is, listen, Robert Thomas is a name that every Red Wings fan wants to play on that second line center position. He's going to boost not only the production going through in the middle six, but the 5-on-5 numbers, the power play, everything in between. You can see the numbers there. Robert Thomas is a phenomenal player, but now it seems like not only is it Stevie Y with Detroit in on Robert Thomas, we're seeing multiple names continue to work their magic and work around trying to pick him up. The Sabres are believed to be the front runner as the most recent report we've seen, but the Canadiens, Mammoth, Wild, and Red Wings are all in the race, and it feels like, Darius, you're stuck in between two situations. Yes, you have the cap space. You can go out and get this darling of a contract, just over $8 million for the next 5 seasons with a rising cap roll. That's incredible. You can go out and you can move assets, but at the end of the day, with all these teams actively looking at this guy, with the reports coming through that Robert Thomas is a guy that every team, including the Buffalo Sabres, are looking at acquiring, you're looking at a bidding war, and you kind of look at this in the sense, are you willing to mortgage the future to land a guy like this? And call me crazy, but I think this is one of the players you very rarely see hit the open market. The fact that St. Louis is even listening and shopping him feels insane to me, and I know a lot of people are feeling the same way. Now listen, the no movement clause, no trade clause is something that's going to affect this. He gets a say on where he goes. He could veto a trade if he doesn't want to go to Buffalo. So there isn't just a lot of leverage coming from Detroit, which is close to his hometown, but this is a guy that I think, with all these reports, with the Wings being in, the fact that of course he has to waive to come here, I feel like you almost need to move the farm to get this guy as that second line center and worry about the future later on, because you'd have your future 2-line center for the foreseeable future. There's a lot of futures, but what's your thoughts, Darius?
Yeah, and I think you hit on something there that's something that a lot of people are feeling, and I see it in the comments. And a lot of people are like, hey, gas pedal, let's go, let's get Robert Thomas. And I think it makes a lot of sense as well, right? Like, that makes a lot of sense. And when you're looking at the future, like you mentioned, a lot of people have this feeling of, why would you give up Marco Kasper and this first-round pick and maybe another first-round pick and another young prospect like a Carter Bear, for example, because we know the Blues are looking for the equivalent of 4 top 15 picks in return for Robert Thomas. Like, they want a king's ransom. Why would you do that? I feel like the feeling is, why would you throw away the future? I don't think you really are. Robert Thomas is 25 years old, and you kind of alluded to it, there at the end, that yes, you'd be moving off of some really, really good talent, but this team is almost poised to win right now. Dylan Larkin's not getting any younger as well. If you bring in Robert Thomas, he's 25. He's roughly the same age as, Lucas Raymond and Mo Sider that are still coming up and, becoming superstars in this league, right? So arguably you're in a window right now where I think you could afford to make a move like this, where it could put you over the top in a very competitive Atlantic division, very, well, not so competitive Eastern Conference as a whole, but very competitive division, that's for sure, for the next couple of years, with teams like Toronto moving down, Florida moving down, right? And you have some more inexperience in the mix in the Buffalo Sabres in the playoff picture as well, even the Montreal Canadiens for that matter. So they have a really good opportunity here. So I think that Steve Yzerman has to find himself in, if there is a bidding war, he has to find himself in the middle of it right now, because the Buffalo Sabres getting this player could be disastrous for this season. You never know how it plays out, because right now, as you can see here, they would be playing each other in the first round. If the playoffs started today, you could see it here. Buffalo would be playing your Red Wings in the first round. So that's problematic. And on top of it, if Robert Thomas was going to Utah, if he was going to the Minnesota Wild, who are also, reported to be in the mix here, wouldn't really matter to the Red Wings. Oh, we missed out on a great player. But I feel like there's implications even within your own division here that screams, we got to make a move here. I have to say, Mark, I don't know how you feel about this too. I feel like there's a little inkling as well of Doug Armstrong maybe trolling as well. He's just trying to gauge the value on some of his players, and he might not actually pull the trigger, and he's wasting a lot of GM's time. But I don't know how you feel about that specifically. But again, I think if it's in division like that, you got to make a move. I don't know if you can sit on your hands when something like this is available.
And I think that's the big thing. I mean, looking at this conference as well, there's going to be a lot of guys you're going to be in. A lot of people are worried that maybe Doug Armstrong with the St. Louis Blues is out there taking feelers, saying, hey, yeah, we're going to move this guy. And then the day comes, he said, never mind, we're keeping him. We love him. Then you're in the situation of maybe Vincent Trocheck's already off the board. So you're sitting in the interesting situation. Darius Trocheck is a very interesting player. I said interesting a lot this video, but a guy that could join this team, come in and be that second line center, a bit older than Robert Thomas. Maybe the production isn't there, but I think this is why we've seen the reports. Steve does not like sitting on his hands. He's going to put an offer out there. He wants to figure out what is happening because he's got to pivot. We've seen the Tyler Myers stuff, a lot of speculation coming through that maybe that offer might get retracted if we're not going to get an answer between Tyler Myers and Detroit coming through on the trade block. So it seems like they want to work something out. You have the option to go out to get one of these guys, but I think you need your hands fully in the cookie jar when it comes to Robert Thomas. You got to steal every possible cookie out of there, because going into this, not only is the Buffalo Sabres looking to add a guy like this, but they're with Detroit when looking at the talent. Now listen, Buffalo is not as superior as us. They're a team that took a long time to rebuild. They don't have the talent we have. They don't have Dylan Larkin. But if you add Robert Thomas along with their already good prospects, then you start to worry, hey, they might push above us not only now, but in the future. As Robert Thomas turns 30, their prospects start to come through. And that's where Detroit fans might look back at this and say, hey, we wish we had this guy because we could be in that exact position.
It could be in the same position. I agree with you with that. And when you're looking at a player like Robert Thomas and like you mentioned, Vincent Trocheck, we can get to that as well as the 1B option. That's the backup plan, I guess. And obviously he's been linked and rumored to the Red Wings for a long time now. And I think that Stevie Y is trying to get that trade done with the Vancouver Canucks, but that looks less and less likely at this point. So he could be a good, 2 option, right? That backup plan. Now he's a guy that we know can bring you into the fight. A lot of people out of New York talk about it. He's a guy that loves to get into scrums and stuff like that. You need that type of stuff in the playoffs, and I think the Red Wings could have a little bit of more of that and more jam in their game as well. That comes from within, though. I don't know if you can just acquire that, but it helps to get a guy who loves that type of stuff, obviously. But the one point I wanted to make here, Mark, is Vincent Trocheck is not Robert Thomas. He's much older. He has shorter length on his contract, which is good in theory because he is an older player, but he doesn't do the things that Robert Thomas does either. I mean, Vincent Trocheck's a great penalty killer. He's a great two-way center, but if you want that punch and a guy that isn't that bad two-way either, and Robert Thomas, you're getting more offensive production. He's also been playing hurt. Keep that in mind when you're looking at his stats over the last little while. He finally got a surgery over the Olympic break to correct that. So he says he's feeling good. He's ready to get going at 100% again. So I feel like this is an opportunity that a lot of teams, including the Red Wings, cannot pass up on. But let us know how you feel in the comments below. Things are going to continue to progress. We're going to see you guys a lot over the next couple of days. So thank you for the support on the channel. If you're over on Facebook, again, hit that follow button. If you're over on YouTube, hit that subscribe button. Let us know how you feel in the comments below. And if you haven't yet, hit that subscribe button so you can stay up to date with everything Red Wings.